morning. It's Sunday morning, time for our stamping session. My name is Tracy Held. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Melbourne in Australia. If you saw my blog post on Thursday, I said that I would share this card with you, and this is the card that we're going to be making today. So this is a really fun card because it's got that wow factor, but it's really easy. The dies and the paper is what's doing most of the work for you, but it does have a little twist on the inside. So if we open it up, it's got an inner card inside it. So let me show you the products that we're going to be using. I'm using the Grassy Grove bundle. That's the stamp sets that we've got. Got nice little trees and bushy images, and of course the deer. There's some nice sentiments in there, but I decided that for today I'm actually going to change up the sentiment. I'm going to use one of these from the Honeybee Home stamp set. And then of course you've got the Groves dies. Now for me, this die here is the star. This is the one that cuts out those trees for you. So that is an amazing die. And then you've got the others that coordinate with the stamp set. Let's just move this out the way. So obviously these aren't to size, but that will cut out that little image for you of the hill with the bushes on, and you've got, you know, the different trees. If you've stamped the deer, you can cut it out with that die, and then you've got these two which are going to cut out a solid deer, and that one cuts out that. So this all coordinates really nicely with the stamp set. Lots of bits and pieces to play with, but like I said, for me, I've just been using those trees because I can't stop using them. And once again, we're back with the New Horizons Designer Series paper. So this time I've actually used a different piece for what I've used here, but they're all beautiful, and I've just cut that down to size. Right, so when we're starting, you're going to take your piece of cardstock, which is your standard piece cut in half lengthways. So you've got a long piece, score and burnish it in the middle, and then you're just going to cut out those trees. So this die is pretty forgiving, so you don't need to worry about getting it 100%. You just want it kind of straight and roughly in the middle, but it's not a big deal. And then I'm going to do a little bit of stamping onto my DSP. Now I'm going to use different stamps for what I used on this one, so hopefully it's going to turn out kind of like I'm imagining it in my head. But sometimes what comes out in real isn't quite the same as what you've got in your head. But I'm taking this long image and I'm going to just ink it up with my evening evergreen. Looks like I've got a hair stuck onto my ink pad, but that's okay. And I'm stamping it a little bit lower because I definitely want my image to be going over the edge of the DSP, and sometimes you just judge it wrong where you've got that, you know, that base at the bottom of the stamp, so you just need to watch where you're stamping that one. And then we'll stamp some trees over there. And I'm going to stamp a few of these little trees sort of coming up in the background over there. There we go. So that's our stamping for the moment. I'm going to stick it all down before I stamp the sentiment so that I can see exactly where I've got things positioned. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to take is my insert card, and that's cut so that it's going to, once it's all folded up, it's the same size as your normal first layer would be. I have got all the measurements in the description, or I'll have them up on my blog once I post this. So if you want to find my blog, traceofcreativity.com. Now just remember, when you're sticking this in, you want to stick it so that this card is opening in effect the wrong way, because we want it to be flipping the other way to our base card. So let's try and get that kind of in the middle. And then we're going to stick our piece of DSP over that. Now if you've got a good eye here, you can just see where you think things would go. I'm not so good, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick that down. Right, we're happy with that. Then I'm going to close this and see where I want my little deers. So I've cut out one of the big ones and one of the smaller ones. And obviously, you know, you can turn them around, but this one's looking back at that one, so I'm going to have that one that it's peeping through the tree over there. I want to be able to see it just looking back, and then we'll have the little one a little bit behind it. Okay, so that's where we want them positioned. And of course it's always very good and well that you put them down, but then you have to remember where they're supposed to go back. This one doesn't matter too much, just because, you know, it's going to, there's lots of space for it to see. This one is the one that I'm more worried about, because I want to be able to see it. You know, there's a very narrow margin where I can see it peeping through the trees over there. Okay, let's see if I can get this right. I think I know where we want it to go. And once again, go easy on the glue, particularly behind the legs, because they are little thin pieces. There we go. Nice thing about liquid glue is if we need to, we can still shift slightly. Right, and then let's put in my sentiment. So I'm going to use the So Glad We're Family from that Honeybee Home bundle. And what I want to do here is I want the sentiment behind there, so that you're not actually going to see it when the card's closed, but when we open it, we're going to see it. So I think that if I put it roughly there, that should work. A little bit crooked, but okay. So there we go. It's nicely hidden when we've got the card closed, and then when we open it, it's got a nice little comment for us. And I'm going to stamp, I think that this one, yep. I was kind of thinking, did I stamp it there? Because I could stamp it on that side, but then that looks a bit funny. There we go. Now we've got that little deer over there. And if you bear with me for 1 minute, I've just thought about something else that we can add here. I just had over the other side of the table the Waves of Inspiration stem set, and I thought that it might be nice if we have a couple of little birdies flying. I really like this bird, but just be careful, don't do what I'm doing here and rock the stamp so that you get a line. I wonder if I could Not quite. Okay, maybe we'll just have one more there. Don't you love the birds flying around? Okay, so we had added birds added to this one, and you can see, although I used the different paper, it's got the same kind of effect, and that's the one thing that I like about this paper, is that it gives you such a nice effect. Whichever one you use, it's just amazing. So I know that I'm using it all the time. I'll see if I can come up with something different. I hope that you've liked these cards. Have a play with this. Like I said, these Grove dies are absolutely beautiful. And I will see you same time, same place next week. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and have a good day. Bye.